Good day, everyone. My name is Blanche Dias, and I welcome you to my YouTube channel. You all have been so wonderfully supportive of the videos I've put up before, and I'm hoping that I can do justice with this one, so you will like it too. As an educator, it is always very fulfilling to stay in touch with students, both present and past. Last week I bumped into a young man I taught about 15 years ago. He is a successful professional today, and it was so exciting to meet with him that we decided to grab a cup of coffee so that we could catch up on the years between then and now. I knew all about him professionally, but like this mother hen with her brood, I needed to ask him about his personal life, and I asked if he was married. And he said now that he was successful, his parents were looking out for a match. And I know that in his community it is the parents who make the match, but I asked him who he would like as a bride. And he shared his thoughts with me, and it was a very tall order, taller than my glass of chilled latte. He said that now that he was successful, he didn't want a professional wife. He wanted a homemaker. And since they were going to be living with his parents, he wanted his wife to be submissive. I raised my eyebrows at that adjective, but I didn't say anything to him at that point. And he also said that since he would entertain a lot, he wanted a beautiful wife, and as he was an extrovert, he would like a girl who was friendly and an extrovert too. Well, I kept quiet for a while and then asked whether I could share my thoughts with him, and he agreed. So in my usual shoot-from-the-hip style, this is what I had to say. I told him, I said, I know that you're successful and you want a homemaker, but I hope that doesn't mean that she will have to just sit around the house the whole day, waiting for you to come home, sometimes very late in the evening. And I hope you won't relegate her to the kitchen, making hot chapatis while you sit and dine and converse with your parents. You don't want a professional wife, which means she will be dependent on you with no financial means of her own. And I hope somewhere down the line, you don't throw that at her and tell her that she is spineless and weak, and don't you dare ask her how she is spending what you think is your money. You want her to be submissive. Does that mean she has to be at the beck and call of you and your parents day and night? Does she have to massage your mother's feet and your ego every day that she lives with you? You want a beautiful wife. Which young man doesn't? But understand that when you throw these elegant soirees and you have your trophy wife by your side, there will be other men who will admire her. Will you be able to handle that? And if you want her to be an extrovert, you know that extroverts attract people. She is soon going to have a fan following of her own. Are you going to allow her her own friends? Or is that going to be a threat at some point? He kept quiet for a while, and then he said, you know, ma'am, I never thought of marriage like that. And that is the problem. Young professionals today do not think of marriage like that. They think of marriage as just something that happens because of norms in society. If you are friendly with someone, it ends in marriage because your parents want it. This concept of living together, which is quite exciting, is not accepted. Today, they are more interested in climbing that corporate ladder, and with every success, they believe that everything will work their way. This just is not the truth. Today, relationships are breaking up for the flimsiest of reasons. Relationship gurus and life coaches. I can never understand this title of life coach. I'm quite amused by it. Why on earth would you want a third person to coach you into living your own life? But then that's another topic altogether. But they are citing power imbalances, in-law problems, broken promises, insecurities as the cause for breakups. And contrary to popular beliefs, it isn't the man who wants the breakup every time. There are women who want out of relationships. I met a young woman whose marriage lasted 10 months. And when I asked her what the problem was, she very nonchalantly said, "Well, it wasn't what I thought it would be." Well, what did you think it would be? She couldn't give me an answer, and finally, when I pressed her, she said, "Well, I guess we both just fell out of love." I know Tina Turner sang the song, "What's Love Got to Do with It?" Love is a temporary madness. It is a volcano which erupts and subsides. And when it subsides, that is when reality checks in. You know, everyone thinks that just being married is over and done with. But not long after the traditional Shania ends, not long after that walking down the aisle, walking 7 times around the sacred fire ends, not long after the honeymoon gets over, is when the real challenge of marriage begins. There is no right and wrong. It isn't a recipe where you just add certain ingredients and voila, there is your special dish. You know, we've all heard of that anecdote of the couple who has reached their golden wedding anniversary. And when asked how they spent 50 years together, they both said in unison, "In our days, we were taught to mend broken things, not cast them aside." Weddings and marriages, lot of hard work. We need to build up respect, trust, understanding, friendship, and faith in each other. It is no longer just I. The equation has changed to we. And you've got to consider the other person. Whether you've been married a day, a month, a year, or 100, marriages are works in progress. Every day you discover new things, you ride new adventures, but you've got to do it together, because together is the most beautiful place to be.